If a board approves a dog in the community, are its hands then tied forever and always if that dog attacks a person or another dog? In this video, two of our experts answer that question. Welcome to this HOAleader.com video chat with two of our experts. My name is Gabriella Falisco. Today I'm joined by Adrian Chang of California and Robert Ducharme of New Hampshire. And this month we're asking a question we found online by a Florida condo resident. They say they were attacked by a dog apparently approved to be in the community by the board. However, the writer says the dog's owner is a quote, never leaving guest. In other words, it's not clear if this dog's owner is a condo owner or resident. The writer says they reported the situation to the quote, legal head of the community, and that person said he couldn't do anything because the board approved the dog in writing. So in this video, these two HOA lawyers address whether that's true. Let's say you're a board. Do you truly have no ability to act once you've approved the presence of a dog, even if the dog causes injury to a person or an animal? So just a heads up, our experts are providing insights based on the laws and the practices in their state. This video is intended to provide you with some general information you can use to help you if you approach an expert in your state. So with that in mind, Bob, let's go to you first. If a dog is approved, is it forever you can't do a thing after that?
Never. As courts have repeatedly made it clear, boards giveth and boards shall taketh away. There's simply no grandfathering. There's no precedence in condo world. And at least in the New Hampshire Supreme Court has made it known that every situation is different on its facts. So boards are allowed to use their best judgment for any given situation. And if it were otherwise, for instance, if you had a dog that was there and it was biting people or mauling or worse, the result would be that they could never get rid of the dog, and the association would repeatedly be held liable for, horrible injuries to people. And that's just never going to happen.
Adrian, tell us California. Is that the same or slightly different?
Yeah, I think that we do have those interesting facts here. We're dealing with a guest dog, and one thing that's also really interesting is about this approval requirement. In California, actually, owners have a right to have at least one pet. But the fact that they're saying approval is required, I don't know if this is a assistance animal, which we'll discuss a little bit later on. But when we have these kind of situations, despite whether regardless of if the dog is a assistance animal or just a pet. Typically, we see in the governing documents and the CC&Rs a strong nuisance provision, a pet provision, or even a general animal provision that would allow the association to have an owner or a guest remove the dog from the property. So that goes with the standard enforcement, notice of violation. In California, we have to have a hearing, and the results of the hearing, we could have severe fines, and we can also think about other possible solutions as to, can we leash this dog, muzzle them, or worst case, really get them removed.
Great.
Yeah, we've had similar situations, and around the nation, courts have repeatedly said, as Adrian touched on, courts want to see an appeals process. I think they want to keep more cases out of court, but it's also nice for democracy to have the owners have a say as to what should happen in their association. So I use language that says, as Adrian followed up with, or Adrian noted, that says if there's a nuisance that of any kind, that the board has the right to take the animal away subject to the right of an appeal or any other violation. But I also put language in this, since nuisance is such a gray area term. One person's too loud is another person's not loud enough. If you were invited to the party, it was fine. If you weren't invited, it was too loud. So to take care of what's too loud and nuisance, annoyance, cause for alarm, I put language in there that says these are left to the discretion of the board. So following up on Adrian's point, the board gets the first choice based upon the facts that it has to say, hey, listen, this has gone a little too far and the dog has become a danger or a nuisance for whatever reason, and we have to do something about it. Then it comes down to, I put language in there in most documents says, in the board's discretion, they can actually have the dog removed pending the appeal, which is sort of the reverse. Normally it's, hey, we're going to fine you, but we'll hold it in abeyance until the hearing. But for instance, just last year, or excuse me, in the spring, I ran into one where a dog was loose in a city in New Hampshire, and it bit a little girl, attacked a parent, and then when the police officer showed up to get the dog, it bit the police officer too. now you're on all kinds of notice that if we have an appeal and we can't schedule it for 2 months because there's not a quorum and it gets out there and bites 4 more people, now you're really in trouble because you've known it was biting. You didn't do anything enough about it. So I use it that they can set it as quickly as possible. And if the board determines pending the appeal, they can have the animal removed because the case law is clear. And Adrian, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know Florida law, but I don't know any court that said, no, you can't ever take something away once you've given permission to have it. I've just never seen that.
I agree, especially the pet situation, given, the dangerousness that can occur. Bob, do you think this condominium association in Florida had an attorney or not? I mean, this is to hear their
No,
response is very surprising.
I don't know that, and I don't mean this in a bad way. They may have had an attorney, but similar to an issue I just had today with another condo association, I said, I don't mean this in a bad way, but where did you get this amendment you drafted? And he said, oh, well, there's a person who's an owner who's an attorney, but it's sort of like asking a tax attorney how to do criminal defense. So they may have had an attorney. I'm not sure they had a sufficient amount of experience in condo law. It's a
Yeah.
different world.
Well, great information, Adrian and Bob. Thank you. Listeners, be sure to click on the link below to watch the additional extended video where these experts discuss the steps a board should take to evaluate whether a guest's or owner's dog should be permitted on the property any longer.